I noticed that everything that they said they found, I didn't find. So for about 3 years, I just shut up because I didn't want to seem like I was going against, my own people. I'm like, dang, these are elder black men in the community, and what I'm finding, it don't line up with what they saying. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, I don't want to seem like I'm going against them. But then I had a long talk with my mama and my OG, and they was like, look, don't let nobody shut up your mouth. That's not you. That's not you being disrespectful, but it's just showing you that you have found another way, and information updates, and some information is outdated and need to be corrected. So that's when I started speaking. What y'all did was y'all put me against my own teachers and put me against my elders, like I was speaking against them, and I wasn't. What you eating for Thanksgiving? I don't celebrate no holiday. We celebrate holy days. I don't celebrate. That's paganism. I will never ever. And then if you look at what Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving. It was a massacre of our indigenous ancestors here in the Americas. So I don't celebrate holidays. We celebrate holy days. You see all of the Hebrew stuff I got in the background, and we damn sure ain't celebrating the massacre and the stealing of our land because we're originally from here. So I would never in my life celebrate no Thanksgiving. And there's nothing to be thankful about on that day for our ancestors and our people. They were killed. They was given man-made viruses. They were shot down by single shotguns. They were pulled and tarred and feathered off their land. And then we was made to believe we was from a whole nother continent, which we're not. They taught us to believe that we was Africans. They changed the word literally indigenous Indian to Native American, which was the Samoyeds, and then they changed us into Negroes, and then Negroes became Black African Americans, and then they associated us with a continent that we not from, because we originally from ancient Egypt, which is here in America. We're originally from ancient Israel, which is here in the Americas. Americas is the ancient, oldest civilization in creation, and then they connect us back to a continent. Not speaking ill against Africans and none of that, because we all associated through genealogy by our melanated skin, of course. But man, I would never ever celebrate that, man. That was your ancestors. That was your great grandfather and grandmother that was killed, and that was given viruses, and that was tarred and feathered. You know what I'm saying? And then they had the nerve to give us a Independence Day and all. Man, come on, man. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. We know the real history of our people. We know the real history of our indigenous ancestors. We know where we really originate from. And on that day, I'm gonna mourn. I'm not gonna be eating and being a part of this whole ceremonial satanic ritual celebrating the deaths of my ancestors. That day I'm gonna mourn. That day I'm gonna fast. I might shed a few tears. I might pour out some fruit juice for my ancestors, you know what I'm saying? But I won't be eating anything, because you eat to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? What am I celebrating? The mass murdering of my ancestors? That's how I'm here. So no, if anything, I'm gonna be doing some spiritual ritual warfare against the people that did that to my people on that day. Just saying. Forgive me, y'all know I get off topic sometimes, but I seen that I had to say something on it. All right, so what else we need? Did I leave out anything before I started answering questions? We talked about the herbs. We talked about the fruits. We talked about the food. We talked about how the diabetes happened. What else we need? Now, B, did I talk about diabetes 1 and 2? Glaucoma. We talked about diabetes 1 and 2. We talked about glaucoma. We talked about cataracts. We talked about neuropathy. We talked about the parasites. We talked about all of that. All right, so now I'm gonna open up the chat, and look, let me holler at y'all. Y'all got any questions? Go and ask them. We are not African Americans. We are from the tribe of Ham. I'm not a Hamite. I'm not from the tribe of Ham. I'm a Shemite. I'm from Shem. Baruch Hashem. I'm not a Hamite. I'm not a Canaanite, a Hamite, none of that. Now, we all are associated with each other. If you believe in Torah and you believe in the Bible, Noach. We all came from Enoch or Canuk or in Noach and stuff like that. But no, I'm not a Hamite. We Shemites.
Zach, I appreciate you deeply saving his life.
How much indican powder should I take? A tablespoon or 1/8? You can do a tablespoon. A tablespoon would be good for you. Do a tablespoon. Go and kick it up a notch. Blessings, Goddess. Let me see your face. Oh, what's up, Goddess? What's up with you?
Hello.
You was supposed to pull up to the clinic like a week ago. What happened to you?
I thought it was going to be like patience. I was just worried.
What you got going on? What's going on with you?
Okay, so like everybody was talking about grains. So I just had a couple questions. So when you're talking about the grains, that's mostly for people who are diabetic, or is that for everybody?
Well, that's for everybody because, like, for instance, so, like, if you look at the grain and the history of grains was actually manufactured during the Industrial Revolution, where they basically, they wanted to do high processing yield, so they created these mini dwarf grains. And these mini dwarf grains have so many complex sugars in them and so many proteins that's killing our people. Like, for instance, if you look at wheat grains, for instance, icorn is an original grain. They took icorn and they took another wild grass and they mated them. And when they mated them, they put gene selections in them. They spiked them with all types of stuff to make them grow short, for they wouldn't be top heavy. They made them weather resistant, and then they spiked the sugars up to make them more tasty, to be addictive. Well, this created these proteins. The first protein is called wheat germ agglutinin. Wheat germ agglutinin is known to be acidic. It rips through your stomach. It produces more stomach acid in your body, and the molecules from it can break off and pass the blood-brain barrier, and it'll act like different hormones. Like it'll act like different hormones receptors, and it makes you more hungry. That's why the more grains you eat, the more you hungry, because they really don't fulfill you, because it rewards your reward center. Next thing you have is not only that, you got wheat germ agglutinin, you have something called gliadin. Gliadin, Google gliadin.
Gliadin.
Yep, gliadin protein from grains. And after that, Google
Gliadin protein from grains.
Yeah, comes read it. He finna read it to you. That's just read it off.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Protein. Right. Here we go. Gliadin is a protein found in wheat, rye, barley, and other grains that is a major component of gluten. Gluten is a water-insoluble protein complex.
So stop right there. Water insoluble, meaning that it's water insoluble, right? And it's a complex protein. So when water hits this gluten, it turns into a glue paste, which is where it gets its name from, gluten. So it's a glue, so it's very pasty. And you will see a lot of people that eat these develop something called celiac disease. And what it does is it pastes glue around your intestines, and it keeps you from absorbing your phytonutrients and your chemicals and the things that you need to rebuild your molecular structure. So we try to stay away from that. And guess what have the highest amount of gluten in it, or wheat germ agglutinin? Google that as well. After you read that, we're gonna Google that. Guess what have it? Spelt. So spelt was one of those. Spelt was one of those ones that I thought was a good one. I thought it was alkaline forming, but turns out it's very, very acidic, and it has so much wheat germ agglutinin, gliadin, and so many other proteins that's actually bad for the system. And that's the reason why when I was on a bunch of spelt, when I was going crazy on the diet, I was actually gaining weight on that alkaline diet. So spelt it, barley, what else? Go ahead, finish reading that.
Gliadin is a protein found in wheat, rye, barley, and other grains. That is a major component of gluten. Gluten is a water-insoluble protein complex that can be harmful to people with celiac disease.
Now, so that was gliadin. I want you to look up wheat germ agglutinin. Wheat germ agglutinin, which raises your blood sugar, it causes diabetes, causes high blood pressure, and it can cause kidney disease. And it messes with your brain. Because these molecules, just like estrogen and plastic, microplastic and estrogen, the body don't know the difference. So if you a woman and your estrogen low, but you drinking from plastic bottles and you drinking foods, you eating foods out of plastic containers that you putting in microwaves and stuff, this will raise your estrogen level. So you'll end up with fibroids, or you'll end up with a thyroid disease, or you'll end up with a corpus luteum cyst or a polycystic ovarian syndrome. And you're like, well, I'm not eating high estrogen foods, but you bringing in too many of those nanoplastics, then your body don't know the difference. Same thing with gluten. The body don't know the difference between gluten and the reward center dopamine. So to pass the blood and brain barrier and literally connect with synapses and receptors, and it'll start thinking for you. I know it sounds crazy, but like you can like really look this stuff up. All right, so let's talk about wheat germ agglutinin. Okay, look, they say you killing it with the read. They love you. Yeah, I know he used to be a pastor now.
Wheat germ gluten Wheat germ contains gluten and should be avoided by people with celiac disease or gluten intolerance. Wheat germ is an embryo of the wheat grain, and it is a nutritious part of the whole wheat kernel. It is separated from the endosperm during the milling process for flour.
And this is what you would call a caryopsis fruit. So you got to try it, because grains are fruits when you get done. Legumes are fruits. You know, most of the things we eat, we still are really natural frugivores. If you look at most of the side dishes, other than, you know, like the greens that we eat, and of course the meat that we eat, everything else on our plate be fruit. Beans are fruits. So we are really frugivore in nature, even still to this day. The problem now is that we're cooking these fruits and we turn it into high fructose corn syrup, and that's what's messing with our bodies. That's why I was fat 6 months ago. I was a frugivore, but I was cooking all of my food. You know, once I stopped cooking all of my food or eating processed foods, I lost all of the weight, and of course I got in the gym. So, yeah, stay away from the grains. There's a book called Grain Brain. I want y'all to Google that, Grain Brain. Download that book. It'll take you on the whole thing through it, how it started off and the barley and stuff was made in Egypt, and how the kings and queens of Egypt was getting real fat because they main exchange of money and food was barley. And it shows that they was dying of diabetes back then from the spelt, because they made spelt back then. Our spelt was killing their asses, boy. So just start reading up on stuff like that. But yep, as far as the grains, you got any more questions for me?
And then with the eating nuts, like how often is it okay to consume daily?
So yes. So your daily. So if I say, because I think nuts should be a part of your meal. If you want to die like me, at the most I eat 1 meal a day. Well, I'm gonna say this: I eat at one time a day, and what I mean by that is I eat from the hours of 12 to 6 p.m. and through 12 to 6 p.m. I try my hardest to get in 2 meals, but usually I don't. Like for instance, all we had today is what, Nabi?
Acai bowl.
All I had was a acai bowl, a 24-ounce acai bowl with no what?
No granola.
No grains, no granola, because I don't mess with grains, period. All I had was some dragon fruit for the base. I had me some beautiful almond butter that we made ourselves on it, some coconut flakes, some blueberries, some blackberries, and what else we had?
Cranberries.
And some cranberries on it. That's all I had, and I'm not even hungry again. So that was a meal that we ate at 1:02. It was literally 1:02 when we ate it. So my next meal was supposed to be at 4. Because I don't eat after 6. But since I had to come and go live, I won't eat. I'm just going to go ahead and fast until tomorrow. That way I'm still inside of my 18-hour fast, and I only eat for 6 hours of the day. So nuts are good, but this is what I'm saying. Inside of my acai bowl, I had my almond butter. That's considered a nut. And on top of it, I sprinkled a handful of pumpkin seeds, which is considered a seed. So I still got in my simple amino acid structures, or what they're going to call proteins. I'm going to call it carboxylic acid. So I still got in my muscle building factors just inside of that little bitty 24-ounce acai bowl.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Or grains, fruits. Yes, grains or fruits. It's called caryopsis. Now, B, hit them with it. Hit them with the facts. Or grains considered fruits. You got any more for me?
Nope, that was it. Thank you.
All right, pull up on me. You know where I'm at. Come on, we got work to do.
All right, for real.
All right, peace, goddess.
Peace.
Yes.
Hold on. Let me do it like this. Or grains fruit, Nabi.
Yes. Grains are technically a type of fruit. The scientific name for the fruit that is commonly called grain is
Caryopsis.
caryopsis.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm an expert when it comes to the name of these fruits, when it comes to the sugar backbones of these fruits, when it comes to the molecular structure of these fruits, the chemical nutrients of these fruits, the phytonutrients of these fruits. It's all right here, y'all. It's here. I don't got no notepads around. This is right here, y'all. So, grains are fruits.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Definition. A grain is the seed or fruit of a cereal grass, which is a grass that has starchy grains used for food. Examples: wheat, rice, and maize are all examples of grains, which are the fruits of the grass family.
Boy, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. All right, what else we got? So when you look at wild rice is considered, they call it forbidden grass in Asia. So it's not really even a grain, it's a grass. And then black rice is an actual fruit, it's a grain. But it still got the caryopsis shell on it, and the endoplasma is hanging on the inside of it. We talking about like what we really talking about, y'all. Here we talking about sex because that's what they are. We talking about sex for real. When you really think about a fruit is the reproductive part of the plant. That reproductive part of the plant is what reproduces the plant. We talking about sexual organs. Most of the things that we was created to eat the sexual organs of plants, y'all. I know it sounds crazy, but it makes the most sense because in the sperm and in the copulin, which is this pheromone enzyme that makes the vagina wet, is where all of the nutrients is at. That's how you form and create a baby. That's how the egg become fertilized. So most of your nutrients is inside of the reproductive organs. Most of it is. What's up with it, brother? How you doing?
Yeah, brother.
What's your
Greetings.
name, man? Respect, brother. Peace, peace.